Hello, my dear students. Welcome to our grammar visual class. Today, we would be learning a new topic, that is direct and indirect object from chapter 7, types of verbs. In our previous videos, we have learned what are finite and non-finite verbs, what are transitive and intransitive verbs, and also we have seen what is subject and object. Now here, today we would be looking more into object. Okay, so today's lesson would be on direct and indirect object. So when I talk about object, the first thing that I would like to ask you is, what is subject? What is subject? Now we know that we have learned that subject is the performer of the action. Who is performing the action? That is the subject. And what is the object? The receiver. Who is receiving the action done by the subject, right? That is what we call by subject and object. Now let us look into our topic for today. So there are two types of object within a sentence, a direct object and an indirect object. For example, the mother fed her child milk. Here, milk is a direct object and her child is the indirect object. Now let us first see what is a direct object. So a direct object is a noun or a noun phrase or pronoun that receives the action of a verb directly. Now remember, I told you in the last class how to identify an object. We just have to ask the question what or who, right? So that is a direct object. So who is the person or thing receiving the action directly is called the direct object. A direct object answers the question what, who, or whom. Okay, so in order to identify an indirect object in a sentence, you have to ask the question what, who, or whom. Okay, for example, Ricky threw pebbles in the pond. So here, ask the trick question. Now you try to ask the trick question and see which is answering which question. Okay, so here, Ricky threw pebbles in the pond. Now in this example, we can ask the question what, right? We cannot apply here whom. So we have to ask the question what. So what did Ricky throw? Ricky threw pebbles in the pond. So here, the receiver of the action is pebbles, and we know that action means the verb here. Threw is the verb, right? So who is receiving the action? Directly, the pebbles. So here, pebbles is the direct object. A sentence that has a direct object may or may not have an indirect object. So here, sometimes you may come across some sentences which may have a direct object, but it doesn't mean that you will always have an indirect object as well. Okay, so sentence that has a direct object may or may not have an indirect object. For example, I received a parcel. So what did I receive? Here also we can ask the question what, right? So what did I receive? The parcel. So in this sentence, we can see that there is no indirect object. So here, parcel is the direct object. So students, we will see what is we will see and understand what is indirect object in our next video. So stay tuned.